Hey my friends, welcome back to Kyle's Film Garage. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different because I don't know if you know this or not, but I like to brew things. So I have a mead video that's already out there. If you don't know, I will link that in the description to this at the end and also in the description so you can check it out below. But today we're going to be making some wine. So I just wanted to do something that was like really simple and that you can do. You can go to the grocery store and buy the stuff and it's not even going to be a big deal. So let's get right to it. But first, here's what I want you to do. Please subscribe to the channel, click like on this video, and share it with your friends because this is going to be the easiest way that you can make some wine at home like a pirate. So let's get right to it. What do I need? How are you going to make wine? What's the deal? What are the ingredients? All right, here they are. You're going to need grape juice. I got 2 things of this grape juice, and that's more than a gallon. We're making a gallon of this red wine today. And so we're going to need 2 bottles of grape juice. We're going to need a handful of raisins. We're going to need a cup of sugar. We're going to need something to put it in that I don't have right over here. So I'll be right back. All right, so pretend like I just reached, watch, pretend like I'm gonna reach over right there and I'm gonna do this. So, and you're gonna need something to put it in. A 1 gallon jug of water. So this is spring water. The spring water has, it's been drank, it's been drunkened, it's drunked, it's not in there, and it got used. So, yeah, all right. So this is a pretty simple process. Oh, you need a couple of other things. You are going to need a cup, a measuring cup for the sugar. You are going to need a funnel to put stuff into here and to shake it up and whatnot. So you got a funnel, and you are going to need yeast, which I have here, Red Star yeast, and this is the Premier Rouge, so it's good stuff. I use a lot of this kind of Red Star yeast, and 1 bag of black tea. I like Earl Grey. So yeah, okay, so let's get right to it. So what are we gonna do? So first what we're gonna do is we're going to put a cup of sugar into this empty vessel. So let's do that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use this sugar. I'm gonna untape it so that I can get to it, and then I'm gonna put it in, just like that. So we got a cup of sugar that we're gonna put into the gallon. I'm just gonna put this over to the side. Not really gonna worry about putting things exactly how I found them, because I can clean this up later. All right, so we got dry, this is dry, this is dry. You want dry sugar to go through a dry funnel. So let's do that. So basically what this is gonna do, what the sugar's gonna do is it's gonna add alcohol to your brew. So because yeast eats sugar and the juice and the contents, the off contents from the yeast eating sugar and juice is going to be alcohol and CO2. And that's how you get your wine, is because the yeast makes the wine just like that. All right, cool. So what do we got? We have a cup of sugar in here. We're going to put a handful of raisins in here. My hands are clean, by the way. So we're gonna put like a handful of raisins, and raisins will naturally have yeast on them as well. So it kind of gives an extra dimension, and also it's a little bit of like yeast nutrient because you have natural yeast in the air, some wild yeast and that kind of thing. So this is kind of like what I've been doing for this particular recipe, and it works out. So you can play around with different things. You can use, you know, raisins, not raisins. You can use different kinds of sugar. You can use brown sugars or like the regular kind of like natural sugar. This is just what I had. I had white sugar. So, but you can do many different things. So this is just what we're doing right now. So, all right, we got the raisins in there. We got the sugar in there. We'll go ahead and throw this in there too. So this is going to be the 1 bag of black tea. This is Earl Grey. So, and that's going to be, it's going to kind of give like the tannins to it. It's going to give you the flavors. You know, that like you know, like wine has like a feel, like a mouth feel. So that's going to be what this is going to do too. So it doesn't taste like fermented grape juice, you know, so it's going to taste like a wine. Like there's just something, there's a je ne sais quoi to it, you know what I mean? All right, so we got that in there. And then what we're going to do, we're going to take this funnel and we're going to pour in the grape juice. So watch this. So what you're going to want to do is, as we get, you want, in the beginning of a brew, you want oxygen in the mix, which this is going to be called a must here in a second, which is going to be, you know, the ingredients for your brew. So we're going to want to shake this up and get all the sugar dissolved in there, and as we're shaking it, we're going to be adding oxygen to it. So, and what that's going to do, let me get a paper towel, because now we're dealing with liquid. So I'll be right back. All right, so got my paper towels and put that up. By the way, this has all been sanitized. This is clean. Everything is clean. So Star San is what I use for sanitization. I don't have that right here, but just trust me that I use it and everything is sanitized. So by the way, for those who want to know about like alcohol content and that kind of thing, a cup of sugar and wine or grape juice is going to put the gravity reading at 1.100. So that's the gravity. And I'm going to do a whole video about gravity readings, you know, later, but this is just for people who don't have anything. So basically, just trust me that like a cup of sugar and juice is going to be about 1.100 on the gravity scale. And what that means is like how heavy the liquid is. So like how much sugar is in it, so that will know how much your yeast is going to be eating, you know, as it were, and making alcohol. So that when you do have, you know, when the yeast chomps down the 1.100 of the yeast of the gravity of the liquid, it's going to end up wherever it ends up. And so I have a hydrometer, which is a reader, you know, for all that kind of stuff, but we're not doing that. So you'll know that when this is done, basically when it has stopped degassing. So, but we'll get to that in a second. So, okay, let's mix this sugar up into the juice. And this is going to be, that's not the right lid, because that lid goes to that. This lid goes to this. See, this is how mistakes could have been made. So we're just going to mix up the sugar and the juice, and the raisins are in there. So basically all the ingredients are in here. So we just got to add some oxygen to it and stir up the sugar. So this will take as long as it takes. So as you're doing this and putting oxygen in it, it's in the beginning of this, you're going to want to have oxygen in the brew. After this is done, which is when you put like a balloon on it, which is what we're going to do, which is what you can do. I have other things, but for right now, we're just doing it this way because this is how you can make wine with no special equipment. So that's what we're doing. So wine gets pretty aggressive with the yeast, like when it's when it is doing its thing. When the yeast is making CO2, it's gonna be degassing, and like basically it gets pretty crazy sometimes. So what you're gonna want to do after this is you're gonna want to put this in a dish or something like that, because it will potentially, you know, come out of the balloon, and that's normal, and it is what it is, and don't worry about it. So that could happen for like the first day or so. But all right, so let's see. Yeah, it looks like there's no sugar in there. It looks like we're all dissolved. So cool. So let's go ahead and put more juice in. So there's a lot of foam in there because I just shook it up. So actually, before I put the yeast in, I'm gonna wait for this to go down a little bit. Okay. All right. So we'll see like where that ends up when the bubbles go down, and then we'll see if we need to add a little more. And yeah, and then we'll put the yeast in, and then we're gonna put this balloon on top of it, and we're gonna get a pin, which I do not have, and we're gonna, I mean, I have one here, I just don't have it on the table because I keep forgetting to do things. So, you know, it's okay, I'll get a pin. So, but we're gonna put this on top of this after we put the yeast in there, and then it will start filling this sucker with gas probably in about an hour. So we'll see that too. So, okay, we're gonna let that go down for a second. All right, so the foam went down a little bit. That's gonna be awesome. And we're gonna add probably, I don't know, a little more juice in there. Probably like bring it to like right here. And that's probably gonna be a little risky. Like the higher you go, the closer you are to the top. And then like, cause this will be foaming. So yeah, you know, yeah. Do we wanna be greedy? Just doing this kind of like slow because I don't want to add more foam to the mix. That's about where I said, right? Yeah. That's about where I said. As he keeps going. Okay, that's enough. That's enough. That's enough, Kyle. Very good. Okay, so I didn't say no equipment. I said no special equipment. So, because I also forgot that we're going to need a pair of scissors, because this Red Star yeast requires scissors. So we're gonna use them. You don't need a whole packet of yeast, but it doesn't hurt to put it in. You can put, because basically it's just gonna get used. So it's like, it's fine if you put more. It'd be better to have too much than not enough. So, you know, for a gallon, you know, I use a whole one. You don't have to use a whole one. It's not required, but yeah, all right, so we're gonna put the yeast in here. Cool. All right, so now since there's a little bit of foam in there, I am gonna use this straw and just kind of like, yeah, just to get it down into it. Do I have to do this? Not really, but it's not gonna hurt. So the yeasties are gonna get in there and they're gonna start doing their thing. And I'm gonna put a balloon on here like such. So what this does is this keeps alcohol in and oxygen out. So it's going to begin making CO2 and alcohol, which is what the whole point of this situation is. I got a mess. I'll clean it up. Okay, so this is pretty aggressive degassing when it starts. So, I mean, you're gonna want to poke. This is a pin. you're going to want to poke a bunch of holes into the top of it, and they will be utilized by the gas coming out and CO2. So, and the reason that you don't have to worry about it, you know, getting oxygenated afterwards at this point is because CO2 is heavier than oxygen. So basically, as it forms, it's just going to push the oxygen out. So, and if you have an oxygenated thing, you can make vinegar. So we don't want to make vinegar, we want to make wine, but it has enough oxygen in there now because we shook it up, so which is going to feed the yeast in the beginning and get that going. And in about a week or less, you're going to have wine. So on the bottom of it, you're going to have like all of the yeast particles and whatnot is going to all settle down to the bottom. So you're going to have this like layer down there, which you're not going to want to shake up. So we'll come back to this, you know, next in a week or whenever this is done. We'll come back to it, and I'll, you know, I'll rack it, as it were, by using a siphoning hose. But if you don't have a siphoning hose, or if you don't want to do that, what you can do is put it in the fridge, and then that will kind of cold crash it. And what that does is that'll make that yeast cake down at the bottom kind of like more solid, and then you can slowly pour, you know, the wine out without pouring that. It's like, you got to be careful, you know, do it slow. By the way, check out the Patreon. I'm going to put my ingredients to all of the meads and wines and stuff like that. So my for those who are in the Patreon just for film, bonus. And for those who, you know, want to have ingredients to this kind of thing, to like home brews and stuff like that, Kyle Hester, actor guy, for $3, he will also be supporting independent film. So I appreciate if you would join that as well. So, all right. So what we're going to do now is we are going to yeah, we're going to wait for this sucker to pop up the balloon. And that's how you know it's going. So I'll see you in a minute. Oh yeah. I almost forgot to do this. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put this in something like this, because once, oh, see that? You see that? It's already beginning to, the ghosts are beginning to materialize. What? I'm kidding. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, this balloon is going to get filled, and then this will probably gas, and this will get filled with bubbles and wine and stuff. Totally normal. So don't worry about it. You should not lose the balloon. You know, it shouldn't pop off, because it's tight enough, and it doesn't put enough pressure on it from the gas, because you put holes in it. That's what the holes are for, so that the holes give the gas to go somewhere. So now you know how to make wine with no special equipment, and this is it. This is it. This is how I do it. If other people do it a different way, that's cool too. You can do it as many different ways as you want to. It's actually kind of fun. Once you start doing this kind of thing, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I will be making more videos of this type stuff. You know, we'll make some more meads, we'll make some different kinds of wines, you know, all that kind of stuff. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with this. But yeah. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you on the next video with more stuff. Be sure to join the Patreon to get the ingredients and the recipes for my mead stuff, and that way you are supporting independent film. I am an actor, producer, and you can see some of the links in the description. Actually, you know what? You probably already saw some of the stuff in the beginning of this video to show who I am. But, okay. Hey, this was fun. All right, we'll do more of it. I'll see you on the next one.